Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. This is Rob with Instinct Bassin. In today's video, we're going to go over one of the questions that I get a lot on my videos, and that is why do I run my 10-inch Ultra unit at the console as opposed to moving it up, in the front of the bow where I have a 9 and a 7-inch unit. In other words, why do I prefer the bigger unit at the console instead of up on the bow where I have my live scope? So that's what we're going to touch today. Real quick before we get started, be sure to check out the gpsstore.com. They've got some great deals going on at Fishfinders right now here at the end of the year, and it'll definitely help out the channel if you go and pay them a visit, and hopefully you'll get a good deal in the process. Also, be sure to get your colon cancer screening if you are near the age of 40 or over the age of 40 even, and hopefully we can save a life by getting that done. So be sure to get that done as well. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I am in my garage. It's raining outside, so I can't really do anything outside today. And I'm just going to kind of go over my setup real quick and then go over why I prefer running this 10-inch unit here at the bow as opposed to moving it to the console like some others have said they would do. So I thought I'd go over my reasoning for that. And hopefully, if you're considering where to put a fish finder, some of this may come into play, and hopefully it'll help you out a little bit. So right now I have a Garmin 106 SV. This is a 10-inch Ultra unit here at the console. And then here at the bow, I have a old school UHD 9-inch and a 7-inch. So 93 SV, 73 SV, basically the same unit except for the size of the screen. All three of these are networked together using a Garmin network port. So that's the setup I have, and a lot of people have said, I would move this unit, the 10-inch unit, to the bow for live scope because one, this Ultra unit does provide a much better picture, has a higher resolution than either one of the units that are on the bow. And so I wanted to go over why I prefer it here as opposed to up there. Now, I will admit, first off, there are a couple of logistic reasons why I do it. One is because this mount, this TBN Tiny Boat Nation mount that I have, isn't really made for a 10-inch unit to fit with another unit here as well. So I haven't tried it. I'm imagining my 106 SV would still fit here, but it would be pretty tight to get it here with this unit here as well. And so that's one of the reasons, is just because I think this unit will fit here better. This 93 SV will fit here better than the 106 SV will, if the 106 SV, excuse me, would even fit there. So that's one reason, is just that logistical reason there as well. So that's the first reason. But the other reason is I really didn't even consider it, just because, for one, this unit is a bigger screen and it's a much faster processor than the 93 SV. And for the things that I use it for, mainly, which are the map and for side view, I feel like I need that bigger screen and the faster processor here as opposed to in the front. I don't necessarily need the processor speed for live scope. Yes, the bigger screen would help, but it's really only an inch bigger. I do feel like if I had a 12, or I'm maybe even not even 12, I'd probably still keep a 12 here. But if I had anything bigger than a 12, then I think that would be too big for my console, and it'd be hard to see around and hard to navigate. And then in that case, I probably would move it up front and then just get rid of one of those other screens. So for me, having the faster processor and bigger screen here as opposed to up front is the main reason I do that. So I use my mapping here, which, to zoom in and out is much faster on the Garmin Ultra unit than it is on the non-Ultra 93 SV that I have up front. Now, if the 93 SV up front was one of the new UHD 2 models with a faster processor, maybe I would consider it then, moving this one there and moving the 9-inch one back here, or even the 7-inch one back here. But I still don't think I would, just because when I am navigating, especially at fairly high speed across the water, I like to have a big screen and a fast processor, because I frankly like to see what's going on in terms of the map and everything like that. I don't have a great sense of direction, so having a fast map that reacts really quickly and is easy to see is very important to me. And then the other thing that I use this for, which is the side view, it provides the bigger screen and the higher resolution, and both, as I've said in other videos, the mapping and the side view provide the biggest field of view for when I'm trying to find structure and find places to fish, and that's what I'm usually doing here at the console. When I am up at the bow, I'm not using these to find structure or fish typically in that big of a space. It's more of a detailed view here, in which case I would use the down view and the live scope. And frankly, I haven't had much trouble seeing anything on this 93 SV using live scope. Now granted, I don't have a big 16 or 22 inch unit on a stand here that would help me see it a lot better. I'm certain that it's a much better experience than having to, you know, kind of bend down and look at this. But I have pretty good eyesight far, you know, at that distance anyway. I don't have great eyesight close up, but far away I can see just fine. So I haven't had that much trouble either as far as, you know, navigating the live scope with that 93 SV. Now in some of my other videos, I have recommended the 106 SV being the smallest unit that I would go with. And in the future, if I was to buy a unit now for live scope, I would still, you know, back that up and go with the 10-inch unit if I could. I wouldn't buy a 9-inch unit strictly for live scope, unless that's all, you know, what your budget could afford, then by all means go for it. But so those are just the reasons that I use the 106 SV, the bigger ultra unit at the console as opposed to here at the bow. So I hope that gives you some consideration if you are planning on installing a Fishfinder shortly and you're trying to consider where to put it and what units to go where. So hopefully that'll help you out. Again, this is Rob with Instinct Bassin. Trust your gut. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out the gpsstore.com and get that colon cancer screening, please. Thanks a lot. See you on the water. Have a good, safe new year.